EA has announced the closure of Visceral Games, and on top of that, the future of their Star Wars game hangs in the balance. What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to another episode of On the Topic Of, and today we are going to be talking about the fact that EA has announced the closure of Visceral Games, which is a studio that is famous for the entire Dead Space franchise, Dante's Inferno from 2009, and Battlefield Hardline, amongst many other notable titles that have come out over the years. EA did go into further detail as to why the changes were taking place in a pretty lengthy blog post, and so I'll read a couple of excerpts here that I thought were the most interesting points. Our industry is evolving faster and more dramatically than ever before. The games we want to play and spend time with, the experiences we want to have in those games, and the way we play, all of those things are continually changing. So is the way games are made. In this fast-moving space, we are always focused on creating experiences that our players want to play, and today that means we are making a significant change with one of our upcoming titles. It has become clear that to deliver an experience that players want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we need to pivot the design. A development team from across EA Worldwide Studios will take over the development of this game, led by a team from EA Vancouver that has already been working on the project. Our Visceral studio will be ramping down and closing, and we're in the midst of shifting as many of the team as possible to other projects and teams at EA. As if that wasn't enough news enough, the release date for Project Ragtag, which is the codename for the Star Wars game, has been pushed back from its already pretty far off release date of sometime in 2019's fiscal year to a to-be-announced date in the future. A ton of rumors have been flying here as to why Visceral Games has closed, and also why the Star Wars game is being reimagined and refinagled as it was detailed in the blog post. But as far as the Visceral Games stuff goes, I think that's because of the poor performance of Battlefield Hardline, which is the last big game that came from Visceral. The game was not bad. I loved Battlefield Hardline, but I simply think it didn't meet the sales expectations and the audience expectations, and so therefore EA chose to kind of reallocate those resources to other projects, and I think that's pretty much what it comes down to. Now, the rumors for the Star Wars game are a little bit more complex, let's say. Of course, it was going to be primarily a single-player game, and then it sounds like EA, through the blog post, is going to make it more of an experience that players can come back to over time, kind of making it into a games as a service kind of setup. And although that makes sense in a world where microtransactions and loot boxes are running rampant, I don't necessarily think that is the reason that the Star Wars game is being pushed off for a later release date. Over the past 3 years alone, we have all been inundated with Star Wars. I mean, we had The Force Awakens, which was the first mainline Star Wars movie since 2005's Revenge of the Sith, which left a 10-year gap with pretty much minimal Star Wars exposure. In the same year of 2015, we had Battlefront, and then the next year we had Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. This year we have The Last Jedi on top of another Battlefront game. May of 2018 has a Han Solo movie planned for release, and then in 2019 we're going to be getting another episode of Star Wars. I mean, that is a ton of content, and so my personal opinion is that people are simply getting a little bit burnt out on the Star Wars universe. Just look at the excitement for the upcoming Battlefront game. I mean, we have Battlefront 2 coming out in just a couple of weeks. People should be extremely excited about this, and a lot of people are. But when you compare it to the amount of excitement for 2015's Battlefront, it's nowhere near as much. And of course, that is a little bit of a different scenario. Of course, that was the first main Battlefront game in a good long time. But when it comes down to it, the excitement just simply isn't there, even after an open beta where everybody got the chance to play the game. Now, whether people are just unimpressed with the game overall, or if they are getting burnt out with the Star Wars universe, that's up to you to decide and up to the entire community to kind of make their voices heard on. But I definitely feel like there is a changing vibe with Star Wars, and that very well may play into why this game is being pushed off into the distant future as compared to being released in 2019 alongside another Star Wars movie. But that is just my 2 cents. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of The Drop. If you did, leave me a like down below, and in that comment section, let me know what you think about Visceral closing. Let me know what you think about the game being kind of reimagined and reworked by EA Vancouver. And also, if you happen to be new to the channel, I do upload new stuff throughout the week, as well as stream live on twitch.tv/TheSamuelAdams if you want to check me out over there. But as for right now, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Get out there and enjoy the fall weather, because it is getting a little bit chilly in the mornings. I will talk to you on Monday with The Drop. Peace.